Hey everybody, Justin here, and I'm just going to give you a quick little tutorial on how to properly get the BB-8 bubble system to work. I've had no luck finding the perfect bubble for BB-8. He seems to be just a little too perfectly round and thick for any of the bubbles that are available out there. So this is really going to come down to each individual person to decide how they want to do it. The first couple attempts I did, I put BB-8 on the card just using the bubble and kind of really pressed it on there. And then after a few days, it started to come up because the pressure of the figure is just too much for the tape and the bubble, and it'll pop off. So, the one thing I did come up with is it's a little destructive of the figure, but if you plan on keeping this on the card for its entire life, I think it's the best way to go. I already have one here. As you can see, I have sliced off part of the back to give it a flat thing, and that's where he's going to sit. He'll sit on the card in such a way where he's flat, and just that little bit of removing of plastic makes him fit on the bubble properly. So that's what I suggest. If you're going to do it, be very careful. Use a sharp hobby knife, but make sure your fingers are clear. Or if you have a sander or a jigsaw or access to other tools, feel free to use those. I simply did it with a knife. So when you get a BB-8 card and a bubble, you're going to get two bubbles actually. You get this little mini bubble, which already has adhesive tape on it, and this mini bubble with adhesive tape on it and wax paper. So leave that wax paper on until you're ready to go. But the way that works is, you see it has a footer part like the classic bubbles, but on this one we're going to use it as space for his antenna. So we get BB in there, and he's got a little space for his antenna. And then you get the regular bubble. So we'll put this aside for a moment. And you have your BB-8 card, front and back. And let's just kind of eyeball this. All right. That looks pretty good. So I think we're ready to remove this wax paper, exposing our double-sided stick tape there, and set them down. Apply a little pressure. You don't necessarily have to have them in there while you're doing it. Alright, so this one, much like the last time with the regular figures, you want to take the flat end of something sharp and smooth, or flat and smooth, like the end of this hobby knife, and just kind of put some pressure on that tape to make sure it really has a bond with the card underneath. Alright, let's get BB positioned the way we like him and pop him in there. Make sure he's flat. And then all bubbles come already ready to just pop on the card. So all you really need to do is tear into it and remove this wax paper from around the edge. And it should be pretty easy if you take it slow. If you go too fast, it'll rip and you'll leave little pieces on there. But you want to get it all off. Try not to touch the adhesive while you're doing this, because it will make fingerprints and you may be able to see those. So we got that off clean. If you do end up getting any little remnants of the wax paper on there, just use your X-Acto knife again and just gently scrape that part off until it comes up, but don't do it so hard that you'll bring up the adhesive. So now we just kind of eyeball it. Lining it up without setting it down. And once we have it where we think it looks good, that's when we start to push it down a little bit. And start at the corners and make contact with the card. Then just kind of run your finger alongside. Try not to create any creases or anything. If you put it down flat, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. And this is where we will take the tail end of a hobby knife just to really seal this on here. So you put it down next to it, to the bubble, and just kind of run it along the edge, applying moderate pressure. I'm going to get it in there and all the different spots. There, I think that's pretty good. So that BB is now carded and in there pretty good. He's not going to go anywhere. So, and even when you cut that back part, it's not too visible. You know, even from the side, you're not going to see too much of that. So that is my suggestion. But like I said, that's up to each individual person. You can decide how you want to do it. I just know from experience, if you don't, the bubbles that we have available aren't gonna stay on there for forever. So that is my suggestion, and thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.